If you are holding any XRP, then you want to see this video because we are going to go over the 3 most important Ripple XRP charts, and it is right now at a very key level on all of these charts. So we are going to see some fireworks in Ripple very soon. Let's jump straight into it. And of course, I will start with XRP against US dollar. And this chart is looking very interesting because especially we longed this token right here. We made very good profit on it. But right now it is somewhat in a consolidation phase. It's in this flag. And I would say you can actually call this a bull flag. And I think thus far for now, it is more likely that we are going to see this one breaking out to the upside. I do have to say, guys, that the things that I'm going to share about XRP today is in a market condition where we are going to see bullish continuation on altcoins and hopefully also on Bitcoin. Okay, so this is on the premises that we are still in the bull market. So if things really get ugly, then this probably will break down and then we can visit the support again, which is a pretty big drop from the levels we are right now. That could be a drop of 63%. Do I think right now that that is going to happen? No, personally, I don't think that. So why do I don't think that? Well, first of all, we had a 7-year long consolidation, very long consolidation, and we broke the resistance and we came into a new consolidation period. And if this one were to come down right here, it kind of looks a little bit like this has been a fake out of this bigger structure, this bigger triangle formation. And I personally believe, because you can see most of the time when XRP goes up, it really goes up. We are in a fast-paced momentum period where price goes up. When price goes down, it's like a slow bleed. Up fast, slow bleed. Yeah, here we have maybe a slow up, but yeah, guys, if we look before, for example, at this part, maybe this was even a rising channel as well. What we have seen in, what was it, 2017, we had the break of a very macro structure, right? We had a break, bam, we had a very nice rally, maybe also kind of like a ascending channel, what we have seen right here. Even with that fake out that we have seen recently as well. The reason why this fake out is lower than this is because during this time, guys, you gotta imagine there was way less liquidity in the whole crypto market. Here there was way more liquidity, so it's more difficult to get these flash crashes. But it actually looks pretty similar. So from the lows right here till the top, we had a rally of 1700% in XRP, and this was also again before the half of this bigger channel, so that's right here as well. So I think XRP can go way higher. We are right now at crucial support. If we would touch the resistance right here, I think it could make another 1100-1200% gain, maybe to $28. I would say $28 is of course very positive, very optimistic. But definitely not impossible. But I'm going to do something. I'm going to take this and we are going to put this right here. This would be personally for me a little bit more of a realistic target, and that would be roughly at $12, 12, 13, but I also think $11 is pretty decent. But that's still a pretty decent gain for XRP. And it's not only the XRP US dollar chart that looks good, it's also other XRP charts that are actually looking pretty good. So from a pure technical point of view, not looking at sentiment, just not looking at Bitcoin right here, just pure looking at this chart, it looks very good. Looks like a buying opportunity right now. But of course, if Bitcoin would break down and we enter a 1-year bear market, most likely this will not make that move. So that's important to say there as well. Then we go to the XRP market cap dominance. Guys, this is actually very interesting chart. And if you actually want to trade XRP, guys, you can do so on the Femex platform. You can do that with US dollar Tether or USDC. If you join with my affiliate link down below, you can get a deposit bonus up to 30,000 US dollars. That is the biggest deposit bonus that you can get over on Femex. And if you sign up with the affiliate link down below, they will not ask you to verify your account. Then, looking at the market cap dominance from XRP, this one is looking very interesting because we have kind of like a falling wedge formation. We broke the falling wedge to the upside, and now we have again some consolidation, also like that flag formation that we are seeing in the USD chart. But the target of a falling wedge, guys, is always the top of the wedge, and we are still far away from the top of the wedge, but we are very close, if not hovering around the support of the smaller term consolidation pattern that we are seeing, the rising flag, the rising channel, rising flag. So we are right now at the support, and when being at that support, and we had of course this massive fake out, you can maybe even see that as a retest, but while being at the support, we can see that the relative strength index going from overbought conditions in this pump, things were actually pretty crazy during that pump and got pretty much overheated. It came down extremely low, so it's almost at this low. You see there's a small difference between this low and that low, but if we look at this low and that low, then there's not so small difference, even if we just look at this low. There's not a small, there's a much bigger difference in the price than in the relative strength index, and that shows me that this chart is potentially creating space for bullish momentum. That's often what we are seeing. So although many people right now, and this is maybe actually kind of like the perfect storm again, many people have forgotten about XRP because XRP made its rally already, right? Not many people talking about it right now. It doesn't have the hype. Many people talking right now about maybe privacy tokens of Bitcoin, or actually many people are talking about that the bull market is over and that we are just going to see lower levels. And although that is definitely possible, I'm not claiming here that not can be true. I just want to point out a different scenario as well, that we are on, for example, with XRP, on really a point which, if we are not in this bear market, it is a very good buying opportunity. And that is where things for me always come together, because the sentiment at these support levels has to be bearish. You have to feel fear at these support levels because that's how the market works. There is no reward if you do not take a risk, if you do not step into the unknown, if you do not step into the uncertainty. And right now it's definitely uncertain times, right? So it can either work out in your favor or not, but it's better to buy right now than to buy in this pump when the hype is already there. Right? If you look, for example, if you're buying late into this pump, then you probably are in a loss. It's better to buy right now, and maybe you can even have a strategy with a very tight stop loss, that if we do, for example, like break down, retest, bam, and we break the low, you can lose a decent part of your portfolio, maybe like 10%, but you are actually having a nice risk to reward ratio because the potential upside is way higher than the potential downside if you work with good risk management. So that is the XRP dominance. Then we go to another chart, and this one is slightly different but still pretty good if you ask me. This is XRP against Bitcoin. This was kind of like the chart in the first place that made me go into XRP. Why? Because XRP against Bitcoin came to this low. That was for me a moment like, okay, every time we come to this low, we just take off. And the nice thing with XRP is that you don't have to wait that long, because once XRP takes off, it just goes for a couple of weeks in extreme rally and then just stops. And often has big retracements too. Right now it's slightly different because we broke a 7-year long consolidation. But this was one of the main reasons, together with the prophecy videos and price structure on XRP itself, that I actually put a very big part of my portfolio into XRP during this time, and it worked out pretty good. And don't forget, guys, that when I was doing that, I also had this period where I had to go through, right? I remember this period. I actually thought, okay, fuck it, I lost money. It's just invalidated. XRP is going to is breaking down, right? In the end, I just like had a little bit of a passive attitude, in the sense of like, I'm just going to sit it out, or maybe the support is a little bit lower, I'm just going to sit it out, because the chart on XRP against Bitcoin is still looking good, it's still at support. Sometimes you just gotta hold to a couple of these charts that you really like, and then just stick to it, similar like what I'm doing with Litecoin right now. But I remember this was definitely a moment where I was a little bit like, oh shit, you know, like what's happening here? Why it's losing strength? I thought it was going to break out, but I just stick through it, and then bam, we had this massive rally. So that's what I'm also trying to say, guys, with the other charts that I'm sharing in today's or in my videos. I have been talking about Dash as well, right? I always say, and about Litecoin too, I always say, I don't know when it's going to break out. Like, we don't know when it's going to break out, but the chart looks good. As sooner or later, it will break out, and when it does, I have my position. And if in the shorter term time frame, I get a little bit like some losses, that's fine, because sooner or later the pump will come. And yeah, this was definitely one of the best trades that I've ever done. Really, that's pretty crazy. And many of you right here on the channel joined me during that time, because the channel grew pretty much during that time. So yeah, I'm very happy for everyone who took this trade. And I even took the profits pretty high, roughly around 280 at $3. I took profits. Not that I don't think that it cannot go higher. I also said that in the video. It can definitely go higher. But my reason is, my rule in investing is, if I make a 4, 5, 6, 7x, come on, man, you gotta take profits sometime, right? Maybe you want to leave a little bit in it for the scenarios that it really goes bananas and crazy. But you also got to be a little bit grateful with the profits that you get. And if you have like a 5, like this went from 50 cents, actually from 40 cents with this low, but let's say 50 cents to $3, a little bit above $3. So what is that? A 7-8x. That's pretty crazy, right? If you then don't want to take profits, then I mean, that can be pretty greedy if you then cannot handle a little bit of correction. That's all I'm saying. So looking at XRP against Bitcoin, it's just bouncing from resistance to support, resistance, support, resistance, support, middle, support, middle, right? So we have now like kind of this W formation, I think, and I'm definitely convinced about this. I think we are going to this level. We are going to the top again. XRP, I think, is looking extremely bullish. And I think many of these old altcoins that did good in 2017, XRP, Dash, Litecoin, Zcash, Monero, they will all do pretty good again, because they have been skipping the whole bull market in 2021. But looking at the structure, guys, we have a very beautiful bounce from the support. Here we have kind of like a descending channel. So a declining channel, it looks like. In the others, we have like an ascending channel, right, where it goes up. But here it goes down against Bitcoin. We are almost at the support. But here you can also see the relative strength index is coming very low. So it might goes a little bit lower right here. But we retraced pretty hard for where the price is right now, because there's a big divergence between the previous low and the price right now, and between the low and the relative strength index, and where the relative strength index is right now. That is actually called a hidden bullish divergence. So what I do think is, for example, if Bitcoin is going to rally or dump, we are probably going to see this thing coming down, because if Bitcoin going to dump, maybe XRP get a little bit more of a sell-off, which will bring the XRP Bitcoin down. If Bitcoin goes up and XRP doesn't grow with it, it will bring XRP Bitcoin down, and that's perfectly visible in this chart. We are not completely at support, but we're almost there. So I think this one will go to support, but eventually this one will break out to the upside, because we needed this consolidation, because we need to calibrate our reality after such a huge pump. You have to think in these market cycles, guys. You don't realize it maybe that much, but the whole narrative and mental framework in the market is changing all the time, right? When XRP was here, it kind of was like a shit token. Nobody really talked about it. It was not interesting, right? It was grinding a little bit up here, breaking down. People were kind of like, XRP is dead, not interested in that. Many people sold their XRP right before right before the pump. Okay, let's party, guys. But right before the pump, many people sold their XRP, and I'm gonna be completely honest, guys. I can understand those people as well, because this price action looked pretty ugly. We had this grind up on the support, break the support, come back down, have a retest or reclaim, break back down. Like, what is going on here? It's pretty weird price action. So I definitely understand the people that sold, but they definitely regret afterwards with this crazy pump. So sometimes that's what I've learned. You got to have a conviction. You hold on to charts that look nice and also combine them. So for me, when I combine, like, this is a nice support level, this is a nice support level, this is almost a nice support level, okay, then I think it's time for me to maybe rotate some money back into XRP. It definitely looking good. But what I wanted to say with the mental framework, here XRP was a shit token. Here it's suddenly really a valued token. People look different to a token like XRP. They take it more seriously right here than right here. And that is how the market changes all the time. And that's why right now people think XRP is maybe a shit token again, because it's doing nothing. It just has been consolidating. But that's the change in mental framework, because they needed to calibrate to the reality that XRP is right now a completely different token than it was right here. Right? So right now everyone got used to this XRP thing again. So it's not really on the foreground again. Now we have tokens like Dash breaking out, or Zcash. So people are right now really focused on those things. But in the background, other tokens like XRP, they are massive support right now. I find this looking very interesting. I find it worth buying. I'm willing to risk 10% loss for this thing to break down, or maybe even 20% loss for a potential, what is it, at least a 2x, right? If we go to $4, we at least have a 2x, but I think we can go to $8. We have what is it, a 3x, 4x actually, from $2 to $8. So maybe we can even go higher, right? So then XRP will get into a different mental framework again. It will be probably with the narrative that XRP is going to take over the regular financial system, or the Federal Reserve. All these stories that we have in the past, they will follow once the price goes up. That is the interesting thing, because in this dump, not many people are talking about these stories, right? The stories come when the pump is in full place, because that brings the attention, that brings the hype. Right now, the hype is not at XRP. So the hype is not there, the sentiment is bearish, and the charts are almost all at big support levels. That is a perfect mixture for a good cocktail, for a green candle cocktail. That's how I personally always like to approach these markets. And that's also, guys, for example, with Dash, this was a very good bet, maybe even better than the one of XRP. Not yet, but maybe it will be, because we have an average entry right here of $21. At least I have an average entry of $21. So this also did a 5x or something, but it's not done yet. This one has probably still some fuel left in this pump. But it's also the same story, right? You have a nice chart, you have a falling wedge. We have an uptrending relative strength index, so the momentum is already changing in the background. We had a fake out here, so this was a little bit scary moment, because then I entered during these levels, and then it pumped and it completely retraced. Then I re-entered a little bit during these levels. I just added to my position, and not knowing when it's going to break out. Maybe it's going to have a dip, do something like this. Maybe it's just going more around the support, going maybe even to $13 maybe, and then it goes to break. I don't know when it's going to break out, but generally speaking, once it goes, it goes. And yeah, it doesn't have to look good. Like if you buy here, you just already have a small profit, right? Because you buy into that hype. Because here, of course, there was already some hype. Here, there is no hype. Nobody talks about Dash. I'm probably one of the few ones that make videos about Dash right here when it's looking good, knowing that I can still lose, like, what is it, 50 to 60% of my position if we do get like maybe a retest of these levels right here, or sometimes this falling wedge has a dip. It goes down sideways and then moves back up. So that is always the risk that you gotta take. But for me, from a macro point of view, when I just look at this, all in all, I think this will pump. So if it will dump first or consolidates a little bit longer, eventually it will pump. And once it will pump, I will be in profit. So I am in profit on this thing, similar like I am in profit on XRP, and these are actually very good trades. And then in the end, you don't even need leverage, because if you trade on spot and you get like 4 or 5x on big cap tokens, I mean XRP is a big cap token, right? Then you actually don't even need leverage, so you can't even get liquidated because you are trading on spot. So yeah, that is these are really trades that I like. But yeah, guys, this is basically my analysis on XRP. I think we are on massive support, and like I said, maybe we break down and it is a false signal, right? And but yeah, you can actually, with good risk management, you can actually plan it pretty good right now with the charts, because we are so close to the support. If we break the support, retest, and then break down again, you can cut your losses while getting exposure to potential, again, another big rally in XRP. If you want to trade XRP or trade it on the spot market, trade it with leverage, you can do that on many platforms. I would recommend Femex or Apex. If you like a decentralized exchange, check out Apex Omni. You get 5% discount on your fees if you join with the affiliate link down below. You are on self-custody of your funds, but you have to use US dollar Tether to trade that XRP on Apex Omni. If you want to trade on Femex, centralized exchange, you can get a $30,000 bonus, deposit bonus, with the affiliate link down below, and they will not ask you to verify your account. They have XRP USDT, XRP USDC, and perpetual futures if that's something for you. But be careful, because there's often very high volatility with XRP, and when you are trading with leverage, it just increases the craziness of the trade. And I think if you can, I think on spot it's already it's already heavy enough. But yeah, guys, that's all up to you, of course. But yeah, check that out if you're interested in that. If you like XRP, let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think XRP is going to make a new rally? Let me know. Drop a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and of course, wish you all a beautiful day, and hope to see every single one of you in the next video. Bye bye.